Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Human Performance Track here for Fed Supernova. Really excited about this next session, and I hope you are as well. It is the 100K Human Performance Investment Challenge. We're really excited to have Chris Lynch here. He's the co-founder of Rebellion Defense and former director of Defense Digital Services. Chris, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, as we were just saying. So I started a thing several years ago called Defense Digital Service, working out of the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. And it was a really unique opportunity for me as an entrepreneur and technologist to get a look into how technology can truly enable and change and save lives and have an impact in the mission of national security and defense. And so I'm really excited about this because I think it's a great opportunity to bring great technologists into this world. And I'm not gonna lie to you all, you're desperately needed. We need incredible entrepreneurs and technologists to come work on this mission. And it's part of the reason that I started Rebellion Defense and working on just incredible things to help impact the people who are downrange and working on things where literally technology can save lives. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce a few of the judges here. And we've got a great panel. One of the people who we're going to have as judges is going to be Chris Dooley, who is a biomedical engineer at the 711th Human Performance Wing in Air Force Research Lab. Another person that we have on our panel is going to be Joe Beard, who's a venture capitalist and entrepreneur. And he's also an advisor and co-founder at Venture Dallas and over at Pro Jane. And then we also got Craig Cummings, who's the Capital Factory director and general partner over at Moonshots and Upskill co-founder, and was in the Army for 17 years. Just a great group to take a look at what you are all working on and creating. And again, I just want to call this out. The world in which we don't have people who build incredible technologies working and serving in this mission and helping those who need it most is not a place that we want to be in the future. And when we bring those two worlds together, incredible things can happen, and we can all be incredibly proud of the ability for the work that we do as technologists to be able to help people here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kick off here. And so I'm going to go with and introduce the first company. And so we're going to have Tom Miller over at ClearForce. Go ahead and jump onto the screen and tell us what you're up to, Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom Miller, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of ClearForce, an analytic risk management company based in Vienna, Virginia. Now, exhaustion and stress can lead to burnout, but it can also lead to chronic underperformance. Work harder, achieve less. Improvements to weapons and gear are essential, but reducing the weight of a warfighter's mental rucksack requires more than physical tools. And the Navy proved this during the Vietnam War as it improved its kill ratio by 600% after adjusting focus from hardware to human performance with the creation of its Top Gun program. ClearForce enables military leaders to discover the hidden pressure and stress that can impair a warfighter's cognitive skills, reduce their mental stamina, and negatively impact their physical toughness. ClearForce's patent-pending technology integrates analytic automation and human intervention with real-time push-based alerting of behavioral anomalies and compounding pressure, often found in financial, criminal, social media, and internally reported incidents. Military leaders can then engage at-risk individuals with positive mitigation steps, keeping them mentally and physically resilient, and reducing risk to the team. Now, our platform automates all of this with the continual ongoing evaluation of behavioral risk, not static point-in-time assessment. We do this by solving the regulatory hurdle to make external data actionable inside the organization with legally compliant workflow and initial anonymity, which protects privacy and eliminates bias, favoritism, and targeting, and promoting trust within the team. Now, our team has deep experience in national security, risk management, and data analytics, and we operate with a strategic board of directors that includes General James Jones, former Commandant of the Marine Corps and National Security Advisor, General Michael Hayden, former Director of the CIA and NSA, Dan Adams, the former President of Equifax, and Harry Gamble, former CEO of TransUnion. Our solution extends to any military or private sector use case where individual pressure and stress leads to risk. We have customers in financial services, insurance, media and entertainment, legal services, and government contracting. PayPal and Live Nation are two of our larger customers. And we've recently been down selected by SoftWorks for a SOCOM suicide prevention opportunity. We actively work a 2020 pipeline with more than $10 million in annualized revenue opportunity. We've secured a white label distribution partnership with First Advantage, the largest global background check provider that uses ClearForce for all of its customer monitoring products. And we're often recognized by national media for our subject matter expertise, with CNN, Fox, Forbes, Reuters as examples. We've raised $7 million in seed capital from angel and institutional investors that include General Jones, ProJane, and Centricus, a global investment platform that led the structuring and fundraising for the SoftBank Vision Fund. Thank you.
All right, that's Tom. Thanks for that. That's the work that you're doing is incredibly important. Judges, I'm going to first start with Craig. Do you want to go first with your question?
Tom, great pitch and super important work you're doing. Are employees aware that they're being monitored?
Yes. So the system almost always operates within employee consent or opt-in. Sometimes it's legally required depending on the information. So consumer reports governed under FCRA. In other cases, it's an organizational policy, but we recommend that level of transparency in all cases.
And so when they receive this feedback of a supervisor engaging as a reaction to them having some sort of stress in their lives, I guess it's received fairly well. They're not like, wait a second, how'd you know that? You weren't supposed to know that about me and my family and this financial stress we're under.
Yeah, and again, I think that's where opt-in becomes important and transparency. So what we find is organizations that create a shared objective, and in this case, if we're talking about mental health and wellness, suicide prevention, and other essentially objectives that are in the benefit of the individual, then that shared objective comes across and almost right out of the gate.
Thanks.
All right, Chris, we're going to do a second question, then we're going to move on to our next company.
Yeah, I thought it was a great pitch. I had the fortunate opportunity yesterday of talking with one of the reps from ClearForce as well during the Epic Office Hours. So to me, this speaks to one of the big pushes for the Air Force is the wellness of the force and family. So moving beyond just the warfighters themselves and the airmen out to their family units as well. What I find interesting here is how how transparent is the data that's being collected? Like, does someone know what's being seen about them, so that even they might be able to gather insights on their own personal state as well? Or is it just seen by supervisors?
Yeah, no, there's always an opportunity for leadership to be able to share the insight it gathers with the individual themselves and with their support group or family as appropriate. So, again, anything that's helping to support that concept that the information's used for the good purposes of wellness and supporting their mental stamina and health well-being all becomes available to the individual.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move over to Martin at Haptech for our next company. Martin, take it from here.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Martin Holly, and I'm the co-founder and VP at Haptech. We're a haptic product company. So we've been leveraging our patented core motor solutions and sensor systems to design and deliver products that allow developers to deliver the most immersive experiences in the world. So over the past 5 years, we contributed to the exploration and growth of this new immersive revolution. And we did that first by taking our technology, our core solutions, and bringing them to the esports and virtual reality stage. So the goal was laser tag 2.0. We're deeply involved in the development of this market through collaboration. In 2015, we even were vetting technologies from people's garages, magnetic, IMU, various optical tracking, even RF tracking. And, kind of all hoping that the perfect inside-out solution was just around the corner. These collaborations led to a lot of success. We actually became the #1 peripheral for theme parks. Basically, we built the Tesla Roadster first and, offered the most powerful haptics ever produced in a gaming device. Now we're positioned well to bring our consumer products to market. And our team really, in this space, we share the vision that we're making the basketball for esports. We also were able to ruggedize our solution and prepare it for what would come, which is the Haptech Defense Systems portion of our business. We're applying everything we learned in the gaming space to this market. It's a large market. And in that space, really, the problem in the beginning was that in training 1.0, you had costly live firing ammunition. I mean, it was hard to train. So in the 80s, screen-based training was invented, and the solution there was air-driven recoil. And now with training 3.0, with AR and VR, we really have a need for a more portable solution. And so we moved to the electromagnetic linear motor as our solution. You can see that on the right, the pneumatics really have a lot of extra equipment, a lot of consumables like green gas. And our equipment really is more akin to a consumer device. We also have several different size motor solutions that allow us to go into all different sorts of weapons. That was what our patents in the beginning sort of were branched off of, was to replace pneumatics in weapon simulators. And since then, we've been looking at the combat training landscape, where we have the ability to take our unit outside for miles type systems, bring it back inside for screen-based marksmanship, and then move right into augmented virtual reality. On top of the core haptic systems that we deliver, through the gaming industry, we've also developed a lot of plugins and a haptic manager and sensor systems. So every single piece of our weapon is censored. All the touch points are censored. And basically, we're also developing or have developed an open architecture for our management system of all of this. And what we're doing is we're solving the problem of the peripheral so that the developers can focus and get more quickly to the end result. We offer virtual assets alongside of all of our equipment. And the first weapon that we produced is the M4, and then right after that, the M2, which you can see on the left. Both of these are in the dev kit phase, and we're working toward the handguns. So we have a lot of customers. Our first project was Project Tracer with the US Navy at ONR Tech Solutions. Booz Allen, Saab, and several others, including Cleveland Clinic, have all sort of started purchasing our equipment for certain projects, various simulation projects for the US. Right now, we have a go-to-market strategy, and that's to use the M4 to push the technology into market. And then after that, basically further developing the base technology to get small enough to get into handguns. After the handguns, and our equipment will be prepared to go into every different type of weapon simulator that would be needed. We're going to license the low volume units and produce the high volume units in this area. These are some of our clients. We've engaged with a lot of different groups, and hopefully those engagements are going to be turning into clients later this year. Thank you.
All right, judges, Craig, actually, I'm going to start with Joe. Joe, can you go ahead and kick us off?
Sorry, just unmuting there. Great presentation. So my question is around the manufacturing. How is that being handled right now? And as you scale, where do you see that going?
Yeah, we have some really great partners. We have R&D facilities here in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mississippi. We have R&D CNC mills. And we also have great partners like Azimuth, who produce a lot of parts down in Naples, Florida. So, precision weapon parts specifically. And so we're very, we're prepared. We have a supply chain that's built to scale. All of our electronics are produced in San Jose, California.
Okay.
Great. Craig, over to you.
Hey, Martin, great presentation. This is seriously impressive. Sort of a tactical question, but if you're in an outdoor environment, like a Miles situation, I'm thinking National Training Center. Can you, if you receive a hit, you get the sense of the hit as well? So you're getting the recoil on the delivery side, if you will, but on the receive side, are you also feeling that?
We could produce something. I mean, we're a haptic product design company, right? And or a haptic product company. We have the capability to produce something like that. But if you wanted to use the weapon peripheral in some way to give a buzz or a notification, you could absolutely do that. Our motor systems are freely positional with sub-millimeter accuracy. And that allows you to make all sorts of weird haptic effects that we normally would use for the theme park arenas to make laser guns or, feeling and effects like that. But those could be used for other effects actually in the, in simulation.
And then just back after that, back again at MTC, they used to have sort of the God view, if you will. But can you see what's happening through all of weapon systems that are being fired in real time?
Absolutely. We have accelerometers and IMUs, and even the charging handles are all scrubbable basically via like an animation. So there's inside the manager, we give access to all the data, every single piece of that data. The developers have access to it and can route it into their gaming platforms for all of their own custom management solutions. Our goal is to produce a product that is not gated by our ability to produce software. The software guys are not going to make the best hardware, and the hardware guys are not going to make the best software. We're making tools that everyone can use.
Really cool stuff. Thank you. And we're ready to move on to our next company with Dexter over at Python. Kick us off.
Hello, I'm Dexter Ang, CEO of Pyson, a hardware-enabled AI company creating the gesture-controlled ecosystem. Our technology aligns with the Army's modernization priority for soldier lethality, as well as Air Force's rapid decision-making, which is where we have a Strategic Cyber Award. Our mission is to harness the power of human intent. The most valuable data source in the world is the human body, and it is also the most under-tapped. Our goal is to own the platform for collecting this data and applying AI on it for millions of people. The government has a national defense mission need in the area of human-machine interfaces for multi-domain operations. Soldiers need situational awareness solutions that are quick, intuitive, and effective, and that can be used during any phase of an operation, during day or night, and without interfering with the use of weapons and tools. Our target market is augmented reality for government and consumer, where there is a gap in human-machine interfaces. Our technology addresses requirements by enabling a finger lift to access the digital world. Pyson invented the process for electroneurometry, ENG, to detect nerve signals on the top of the wrist. We have 3 patents and 17 pending. Our technology includes a proprietary sensor the size of an Apple Watch and machine learning algorithms to capture millimeter scale finger and wrist movements and convert them to inputs for digital systems. Users can hold items, wear gloves, and still have actuation of hyper-enabled digital systems. We are developing our technology with early adopters, including multiple Army groups, as well as the Air Force, where we are a strategic cyber winner for touchless control of augmented reality, as well as ATAC. This work is supported and funded by AFSOC, PEO, ISR Soft, 711th Human Performance Wing, as well as NATIC. The requirement has already been passed for our gesture control technology by ACC. Our work with Google is on a silent voice gesture SDK to access a phone even when it is in a person's pocket. We can imagine a world where users in smart homes are being able to manipulate everything around them just by lifting a finger. We're in alpha deployment with many of these partners and plan to have wider product release in Q4 of 2022. We have a team of 35 high-level engineers, scientists, and business leaders with experience at Uber, Formlabs, and L3Harris. Our investors include Bose, who led our seed round, and Incutel. In the last 18 months, we have had great traction engaged on over 20 contracts. Our technology applications span human-machine interaction for head-worn systems, end-user devices, and AI swarms for small unit maneuvers. For the CV-22 Osprey, we are performing on augmented reality human-machine interfaces for wiring. We are Boeing's chosen partner to integrate entirely new user experiences and deploy their software to the government. As you can see in the picture, the user's wearing gloves, which traditional augmented reality would not be able to track those hands or any sort of input. From our initial results, there is 80% error reduction and 20% time reduction for technicians doing wiring tasks. We will be deployed at Boeing's Philadelphia facility by the end of this year, as well as being able to roll out our technology at NavAir for this in multiple platforms. For night vision goggle UIs, we emulated the interface in Android to show how gesture control can manipulate the menu items and declutter the visual display simply by wrist and finger movements. This is the actual UI display of the next-gen panoramic night vision goggles that we created in Android to showcase how the control can be redone. A user can wear gloves and have their hands in any position. As well, our work with leading robotics companies is on the concept of AI sum for swarms. Our gesture control technology was showcased live in a training exercise in Tampa with VIPs and users wearing full equipment to be able to direct 10 dog robots and drones, all performed by one user holding tools and weapons. We disrupt in current paradigm of one user controlling one drone and create a world where one user can control any number of remote assets. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for the pitch. I think we're going to go ahead and we are going to start with a question from Chris. Kick us off. Chris, you are muted.
Thanks, guys. Really impressive pitch. I've seen this technology used for prosthetic limbs previously, with really strong results. So it's really fascinating stuff. Along the lines of are you able to change what motions are being used to drive? Like, is it a trainable algorithm so that if you have a different operator who might have the hand motions that you had initially programmed in, could you adjust that for, say, someone on the ground versus someone who may be flying?
That is a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. Our work with JTACs at Nellis, for example, we allow them to integrate with ATAC by configuring the default gestures, which is arm pointing and lifting up a finger just to drop a point into ATAC for close air support. We then take the exact same software stack and apply it for NSW guys who actually are controlling class 1 and class 2 drones on the ground, and they are configuring different things like a thumb swipe or air swiping in the ground, in the air. So just like you would tap on your phone in the air. Our goal is to provide a gesture primitive library to our customers. We're working with ONR on developing this, and then being allowed end users to customize and modify it and calibrate on themselves.
Very cool.
Awesome. Craig, question.
Seriously impressive technology. Congratulations. With so many different applications, my question is, how do you focus? And what is your top priority, your number 1 or number 2?
I appreciate that question. A very big challenge for our company and our technology, given that we have so many applications and interested parties. And so number 1, we recognize my long-term personal view is augmented reality and a COTS integratable standalone product, as well as possibly integration into smartwatches that are worn on everybody's wrist already. That's where we're targeting technology-wise. Along the way, we have interest, obviously, with autonomy and with phone control and ATAC. And for us, we're building out our base platform of data collection and deep learning that is agnostic to all of those use cases. But I'm targeting a COTS release with augmented reality headsets.
Good, thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're ready to move over to our next company. We're gonna have Usma at Steradian kick us off.
Hey, so
Cheers.
we are Steradian Technologies, and we use focal point projection systems to create superhuman eyesight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my team. We are scientists, global health practitioners, optics experts. So the good thing is we've been able to keep everything in-house in terms of our development and our technical expertise. My co-founder, Jerry Augeran, actually developed advanced robotic systems for space exploration at JPL, which is kind of where the idea and the genesis of our idea came to fruition. And my other co-founder, John Marino, is a mechanical engineer with experience in optics. So what we're doing is developing high-tech focal point projection systems to better the world. And the way we do this is we have 2 products. One is called the Rumi, and it uses focal point projection of photons to detect pathogens. So we're building this for COVID-19 right now. It does it in about 30 seconds. And our other product is the Fovean, and this does focal point projection of imagery, which is what I'll be focusing on today. And so the Fovean is the world's first device that projects imagery directly to the back of the human retina. And the way that we do this is we have 2 cameras on our glasses that track the human eye, and depending on where you're looking, they'll stream that imagery, configure it with higher resolution, sharper contrast, and full 3D perception, and then project it directly onto the human retina. And that's how we recreate and re-optimize human vision. And so you can imagine there's a lot of applications for this. Our focus on space has been telepresence, so we can put our cameras on a remotely operated vehicle, and you could be wearing our glasses either on mission control or on a spaceship, and it's as if you are walking on space or on Mars, and it eliminates spacewalks. It eliminates the need for humans to be able to go out there. So we can actually send out a vehicle, and it would be able to traverse the landscape and tell us if it eventually would be habitable for colonization. In the surgical and medical space, our glasses would replace loops. So surgeons would see high resolution imaging in real time, which would actually make their precision and accuracy a lot better. For gaming and entertainment, it's pretty obvious. Our goal here is to completely replace AR/VR gaming goggles, and using glasses, it's more of a lifelike resolution for an immersive gaming experience. The big thing about this is that you don't have nausea or dizziness because we have head tracking, we have eye tracking, and our vergence control. Same thing with oil and gas, very similar to space exploration. So right now we're focused on retinal degeneration because there's about 17 million Americans who suffer from that. And our addressable market is 5.8 billion from that. We've already built our our projector, and we've built our software. As you can see, the software is pretty powerful. It has a lot of different capabilities. We've tested it on patients. We've seen that their visual acuity actually doubled, and they were able to see details and imagery that they weren't able to see before, and their 3D perception of space was intact with our glass. We have this patented already. It's issued. And as you can tell, everybody's kind of trying to hack the eye space. The issue is that they're still projecting it onto screens, whereas we are projecting it onto the human retina. And if anyone's trying to project it onto the retina, they're doing it, via monochrome laser. And the issue with that is you still have one color. So we're able to do it with visible light. So we keep imagery intact, and we can project it onto the retina because visible light isn't going to blow your retina apart. We have an amazing group of advisors that keep us in check and cheer us on. And then we have a research team that focuses on the clinician and biological aspect because we are working with eyesight, with patients, and then on the product development side. We have several different company accolades that we've collected along the way. We are pretty early stage. We focus a lot on our research and development, and we are Steradian Technologies, and we are creating superhuman eyesight. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I, for one, am thankful that visible light does not blow apart the retina. So that is a good place to start. Joe, we're going to start off questions with you.
So how much customization is required based on how great someone's eyes are? And I guess as someone's eyes deteriorate, does there need to be a change in the glasses as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one of the things that we've patented in the technology is something called a fluidic lens. So depending on how your eyes change, that lens can be electronically configured by our software based on the amount of degeneration that you might have or your refractive index. So it can be easily configured per person. And then the software will manage your pupillatory distance and be able to create the imagery for you.
Wow.
Awesome. Craig, we'll pass it over to you.
Great presentation. And this sort of builds on Joe's question of, in the human testing, is there any dizziness or any of the effects of wearing the devices over time? And what do you think is the average length of time that you would sort of participate with that enhanced view?
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do was, especially when it comes to surgical applications, was if you are in a 10-hour surgery, you don't have the space for risk to be dizzy. And so the way that we've created it is we use an ellipsoid mirror, and that's our proprietary technology. And using an ellipsoid mirror actually helps reduce the dizziness to essentially zero latency, and it helps with the nausea to go away. So the way that that works is if you are wearing our glasses, because it's mimicking your eyesight and it's offset based on how different your eyes are, you shouldn't feel dizzy at all. There's a small portion on the electronics from taking the image that you're looking at and then projecting it onto your eyesight. There's slight latency there, probably about 20 milliseconds. Our goal is to get that down completely, but if that gets down completely, you have zero dizziness because it's your eyesight and your brain processing it.
Great questions and really cool product. All right, we're going to move over to Strive. And Nicola, are you there to kick us off?
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikola Marvalic. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Strive Tech. And today I would like to talk to you about what the future of human performance looks like. goal for a long time has been understanding what the body is doing and how is it behaving in challenging environments. To simplify this, the way we look at it is looking at the body as a system, and we want to understand both odometer, what the human subject is doing, but also tachometer, how fast are we driving the engine. And monitoring that is important because today about 60% of muscle injuries, of military injuries, are around muscles. And I want to present you the solution and what we see the future to look like. It's combining the biometrics data of heart rate, muscles, and motion in space, along with the wellness data, such as subjective surveys to understand the cognitively understand subjects, putting those together into a single solution for a single result. And what does this mean? We talk a lot about dual application, and to us, we started with sports in 2017. From sports, recently, we started getting traction in military, and these are the two markets we're looking at so far. As of last week, we have entered the healthcare market, and we're looking specifically at physical therapy and enabling the telehealth. Our future looks like incorporating consumer market along triathlon runners, bikers, and finally, industrial athlete. All in all, we're looking at about 55 million individuals only in US who are target customers for Stripe. And how we plan to do this in two ways. One is a SaaS model. Our system right now is based on a SaaS revenue model, and then also looking to monetize data for non-military applications, which has been validated recently with partnership between MGM, NBA, etc. So we're very excited what this brings. The reason why we're excited about this platform is that it allows us to monitor several things. On one hand, performance optimization, which I spoke to you about. We have successfully foresaw injuries with athletes before they happen. So we're looking into decreasing the number of injuries and accelerating return to play or return from injury. That's been one of the key value propositions we've brought so far. What does this actually look like? It looks like you're looking at the data. This is an example of an athlete that we monitored. You can see here, athlete was doing great. This black line represents the inefficiency. So the lower, the better. It looks great at the beginning, then the athlete kind of starts getting tired. And what's interesting is that we can then look at how body behaves while they're rested. You can see here, the person looks very symmetric, very proportional. However, once this athlete gets tired, we can see irregularities happening. And this is kind of that real-time analysis we can use to not just understand where the athletes are now, but where athletes are going. And to us, athletes is anybody that has to push their body to their limits. Today, our product has been validated from several teams in following leagues. We've also been selected for the phase 2 through AFWORK. We're excited about that and work with special forces in the Army. And finally, healthcare. So the validation comes from multiple markets, which makes us excited about where we are right now and where we're going. When it comes to the team, my background is I was a basketball player turned biomedical and electrical engineer from my undergraduate and graduate degrees. My co-founder was NCAA athlete, and he's a computer scientist from healthcare industry, and our CFO comes from hedge fund management. As General Talley mentioned this morning, the goal is to increase force lethality, warfighter health, and save lives. And that requires all physiological systems to work in union at the same time. And that's Stripe's mission. All systems go.
Very cool. There we go. I know I did it. I was waiting for me to not notice that I was on mute. So we're going to go ahead and kick off with questions from our judges. Joe, can we start with you?
For either end market, whether you're talking about sports or the military, I understand how this could probably help with injury prevention and performance increase. That might be difficult for some of your customers to really measure. How do you make sure that the value proposition is really driven home, that they're getting the results?
Absolutely. So from the perspective of what we build the system on, and our algorithms are built on 40 years of research. So we are here to bring the lab into the field and understanding that, hey, this is what we know, what the research indicates how body should work. And these are the how this is the data that we collect, and understanding that, hey, if we know, like one of our college teams, they had a lot of injuries last year, they were strived, we were able to tell them how to manage their solution properly. So providing them risks analysis of what's to happen or what can happen, that's one of our main goals. And that kind of is similar for sports, whether it's healthcare or military.
We're going to move over to Craig. Question.
So a question I think we all have is whether your product would fit around Joe Beard's biceps.
I was wondering that as well.
May not be available just yet, but I guess real quick, if you just talk about a U.S. Army use case,
Absolutely.
Just for us veterans here, just to sort of visualize.
100%. If you look, for example, and if you talk about the ruck, going for 12 hours or going in the field, we are able to understand at what point does the body start degrading. So when you think about, and this is something that we think about preparation and increasing the mission readiness, maybe we can start thinking of better way to train, better way to perform, and better way to forecast negative results. So if you carry heavy things for 15 hours, it's good to understand at what point are you not ready to be mission ready anymore.
I tend to get very tired carrying heavy things for 5 minutes. So this could also be very helpful for me. All right, we're ready to move on to our next company, and we're going to have Eagle over at Vinci. Let's go ahead and kick off.
Awesome. Thanks for the intro. So my name is Eagle Wu. I'm with Vinci Virtual Reality, and we are changing the way that simulated training is being delivered. So the problem that we're trying to solve is that oftentimes training teams are training people on highly specialized jobs that require highly specialized equipment. Oftentimes the equipment that needs to be used, as well as the physical simulators that teams often rely on, are either too expensive, too inaccessible, or just in general, they could sometimes be too dangerous to have someone who doesn't really know much actually get hands-on with it. The other problem too is because of how inaccessible and difficult all this equipment and simulators are, so oftentimes training cannot be personalized. So what you end up having is a lot of students who aren't getting enough hands-on repetitions, but are also not getting a lot of their individual problems addressed and solved. So we're solving this with Codex. Codex is an end-to-end virtual reality training platform that enables teams to create, train, and analyze their performance all in VR. First part of this is Codex content creation. This enables teams to fully customize simulations as simply as PowerPoint. There's actually a screenshot of it. It's all drag and drop and text editing, but you can also create new simulations and share and store those simulations on the cloud. The next part of this is Codex Simulator. So Codex Simulator takes the simulations you make in the editor and renders a highly realistic 3D environment that's completely interactive. It can also enable different training modes, such as guided walkthroughs, performance tests, and troubleshooting scenarios. Finally, we have Codex Analytics. This enables teams to live stream what students are seeing, as well as view playbacks and gain insights with data visualizations. So why use Codex? Why are people using this today? First of all, it leverages VR. VR is significantly cheaper and more scalable than using real equipment or physical simulators. The second benefit of Codex is it enables you to update and personalize training very quickly. We'll often hear from teams, especially in the Department of Defense, how they would have standard operating procedures or training technical orders change pretty much on the fly, sometimes in a span of every 2 weeks. So with Codex, now they can actually make sure that their training tools stay up to date as field conditions change. The other benefit too is by combining the analytics platform with the editing platform, instructors can actually go ahead and personalize and change and tailor the training that's being delivered to each individual student or to how classes are doing in general. Finally, this enables teams to scale up their training at the point of need. What that means is within one environment, you can create different objectives or different troubleshooting scenarios all at the same time, so you can scale up the library that you can access. So who's currently using Codex? Within the defense space specifically, we've pioneered this at the Air Education Training Command with the U.S. Air Force. We've seen things like increasing hands-on training time by almost 500 hours. We've seen 83% performance improvement. Takes instructors about 3-4 minutes to make and deploy new change. And in 4 months since deploying, schoolhouses are now redesigning courses to exclusively use the Codex platform. We've also tested this with the Army. We've used this for sling load training at Fort Campbell. We've seen pass rates increase 30%. And as kind of like a litmus test, I actually went and took one of their exams for sling load inspection while actually getting hands-on before and just using VR, and I actually managed to pass. Someone with no military training whatsoever. In the non-defense space, we formed a joint venture of Siemens Energy, and we're actually rolling this out. Right now, we're revenue positive and rolling this out with other offshore wind companies. So we're really happy to be part of the Capital Factory community. Thanks for listening, open to questions now, and hope to hear from you all soon. Thanks, guys.
Excellent. Great. We're going to start off with our first question with Craig.
So great presentation, Eagle, and congratulations on having the name Eagle, because I wish my name were Eagle. That's awesome. Especially to this group. So I'm curious how long it takes to sort of build the model, like build the cockpit, build the sling load. It would seem like that is a not insignificant task, knowing that if I push code 1, 2, 3, the following things happen, and you have to account for that.
Right. So I think the benefit with Codex is, so it's not going to be completely zero, right? That's not possible. But the benefit of Codex is we're actually able to kind of continuously roll out different parts of the model. So what I mean is, yes, it will take, like it took us about 3 months to build this entire C-130. But the benefit of using something like Codex is the instructors didn't need the entire flight deck all at once, right? They needed, for example, they needed the screens first, and then the throttle stick, and then so on and so forth. So we were able to do what we call continuous delivery, which means, yes, it will take 3 months to get a full flight deck, but at the same time, given how the system works, we can deliver like in 2 weeks. You get your first objective, and you can start immediately adding content for that. Next 2 weeks, the next objective, and so on and so forth. I hope that answers your question.
Great. We're going to move over to Joe for the next question.
So are there any heavy requirements in terms of kind of train the trainer, right? So how much time and energy goes into having to train the training platform in order to use this system?
Yeah, so that was actually one of our main concerns at first. So we timed how long it took instructors to create and deploy a new simulation from like just getting this, and it took about 5 minutes for them to learn. We went through several iterations, design iterations, and we focused on how do we make this as intuitive as possible to use. And what we found was by making it blatantly clear what each button does, instructors are actually able to learn themselves how to use this within minutes. So not much training, if hopefully that answers your question.
That's great.
Excellent. Thanks, Eagle. So Vinci is our last company for the pitches, and now the next part of the process is that the judges will be moved to a secret, undisclosed underground location hidden roughly 2 to 5 miles underneath Austin, and they will deliberate and they will send a smoke signal up through another undisclosed location. And the winner will be announced at 2 p.m. Central Time. I think I got those details right. Is that correct?
Yeah, you are correct on all of those things, including the 2-mile bunker that we have hidden under Austin.
Yeah, I visited it once, and it was quite extraordinary, especially the room that is filled with all different types of cereal and other cool things.
Well, I only envy that part of their experience. I don't envy the selection that they have to do. Those pitches were amazing. And so thank you, Chris, for hosting. Really appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing the results of their deliberations.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right.